Have you ever been in a team or in a group where you've been in a meeting, where there's been a conversation, a discussion, and that's been dominated by one or two individuals and others haven't really had a way in? And in that experience, how have you felt? How have others felt emotionally? I can imagine there might have been some feelings of frustration, maybe annoyance. In some instances, over time, there can actually be a feeling of numbness because the pattern is so embedded, we begin to numb out and this becomes normalized. What also is the outcome of this pattern is that voices, because they are not heard, other voices are not heard, the team doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit from the wisdom within itself, within the group, and there's a lack of ownership of that decision by the wider team, by team members. And that's unfortunate, yet it's also quite common. It's a common reality in many, many teams. And yet there is a way out. There are methods, there are tools that are used by teams, more conscious teams, for instance, that can help to get around this. And a question you might ask, because what I'm going to introduce is a kind of direction that brings a degree of formality into the process. And what some people can tend to have as a question is, why do we need formality? Why can't we just be informal? And the reality is that when we are informal, there can often be certain patterns of power dynamics because of differences in social rank. There can be power dynamics or relational patterns that come in that tend to preference certain voices that tend to dominate the discussion. And there can be a pattern where certain voices tend to hold back or be quiet. And that's why you get this scenario that I touched on as a question at the beginning, where a couple of people tend to dominate and the team loses out. So a degree of formality can actually be liberating. A degree of structure can be liberating. And there are a range of tools. The one I'm going to focus on today is a simple tool. It's nothing new, but it's simple and it's effective. It can easily be done. And this tool, which is called a go-round or rounds in a system called sociocracy, they call it rounds. So a go-round or rounds. And in a go-round, which is great for equalizing power, what happens is that the person facilitating puts out a question or a prompt to which they want a response from the team, from the group. And very simply, as in the title, go round, you go round. One at a time. Each person has an opportunity to share their perspective in response to the question or the prompt. And the facilitator may frame something around what they want of the response in terms of, for instance, how long they want someone to speak. So they may say something like, within a couple of minutes or within a minute or within, 4 or 5 sentences, please share your response. So you go around one at a time and each person gets an opportunity to share their perspective. The beauty of this simple tool is that if you put yourself in that situation and you know that you're going to be speaking, when it's your turn, you're speaking uninterrupted, it allows you, and you know that other people are listening, it allows you to go deeper in yourself and to express more of the wisdom and knowledge that you have that can help the group thus as a whole, and the whole group benefits. And for those that are listening, they know they will get their turn to speak. And so they can dedicate more attention to really listening. And when each member is really heard and people integrate that wisdom, the whole group wins, the team wins. It can also be that when we hear someone's response, we are affected and it may shift our perspective. So it can be that after one round, there could be another round as well. And that can be a fascinating process of discovery. It should be mentioned that this tends to work best in a relatively small team of up to sort of 5, 6, 7 people, because it could take a long time with 100. So it's an effective tool for a small team. And because the wisdom of the team is supported to emerge, and everyone's voice is contributing to that wisdom, to what is emerging, and people are more fully heard, there's a greater sense of belonging within the team. And what is cultivated are qualities of community, of a sense of being a real participant and enhancing relationship. So it can have a powerful transformative effect in groups, in teams, whether workplace, organizations, activist groups, and so forth. So maybe if you have a small team, you could consider adopting the go-round, if you're not already using it, in your meetings to some of the questions to which a response is invited. If you're in a much bigger group, then it's not so easy to use, but a principle could be used within it as to how to allow voices or invite voices other than the ones that tend to speak most. And I'm going to share a simple question that you could potentially use here, is that you could just put out this question, these ideas are great. I'd really like to also hear, so if you're facilitating, to say, I'd really like to also hear from some of the voices that we haven't yet had a chance to speak, and then look around. And that will invite other voices to come in. So I'm Dr. Muzammal, and I hope you do get to try out, if you haven't already, the round or go-rounds in your team or group. And if you are interested in external facilitator support, if that could help your team move forward, then feel free to reach out. I'll put a link to my website where you can contact me in the description or in a comment. And if you enjoyed this video and valued it, then please do give it a like, a thumbs up. That's always really helpful. And if you would like more insights on individual and collective liberation, then please do follow. If you have any comments, any questions, do drop them in the comments below. And in an upcoming video, I hope to be sharing on consent-based decision making and what consent actually means in decision making. And so I look forward to seeing you soon.